CPS was ordered to return 2 kids to Mom on Friday. But when they showed up, Mom was nowhere to be found. She was 6 hours away, in Spring, Texas, taking a CDL driver's test.
Her phone was dead.
Her brother ran over it at home. And when CPS finally reached her at 4:30 p.m., she said she'd been tired and needed to pull over and sleep. Now the judge has called an emergency hearing to find out what the hell happened. And why did 2 kids end up with nowhere to go?
This special hearing today based on the events that took place on Friday. I'm seeing a lot of frozen things on the screen. Is it my internet? Are you all hearing me okay?
You're good, Judge.
Okay. Anyway, based on the events that I became aware of late in the day on Friday, regarding the return of the children to Ms. Velasquez. So, this is a little unusual, but I've got a lot of questions. So I'm just going to start asking some questions of some of you. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. Also, Mr. McLaughlin has filed a motion that we need to address, but I want to talk about what happened Friday and why did we have 2 children that all of a sudden had nowhere to go. If you will, unmute for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. If you'll raise your right hand for me, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I know this is a little kind of different, y'all, but you know, we're not redoing our hearing from Thursday. That's not what we're here for. So Ms. Lucero, when were arrangements made about the return of the children?
So those
we finished up late Thursday. We finished up kind of late in the afternoon Thursday. So just tell me what happened from there.
So just to be quite honest with you, I wasn't involved in all the events that occurred Friday, only because I worked a half a day. The only thing that I was aware of was that Miss Lisa had went out to the home, to Maria's home, to try to get in contact with her before she went and picked up the kids from the placement they were in. That was the last that I had involvement up until later that evening. I had took off at noon. And I reached out to my supervisor at about 5. At that point, I felt like the kids probably would have been home by then. And my supervisor informed me that they were still having issues. So at that point is whenever I came back into the office to kind of try to help out. So I'm not fully aware of what was occurring in the morning time.
Okay. So I'm going to put you on the back burner for a minute. Ms. Godsey, I assume that was you. She was referring to Lisa. Okay. If you will raise your right hand, I'm going to start with you then. You promise to tell the truth today?
Yes.
Okay. I think this will just be easier if we can try to address it chronologically. So, all right, Ms. Godsey, tell me what happened.
After our hearing on Thursday, I did contact foster parents and let them know to start preparing the boys for the move. That way they had a heads up. I was going to try to arrange my Friday to where I could go and pick them up and get them home to them on Friday. My initial plan was to pick them up in the morning, as foster placement had other arrangements that afternoon. That was not able to happen. I started trying to contact Maria at 8:30 in the morning, around I think 11ish. I sent her a text at 8:30 in the morning and I did not receive a response. So around 11ish, I tried calling her and her phone went straight to voicemail. I immediately...
Okay, let me stop you. What was the text, the content of the text at 8:30?
I'm sorry, I have to pull it up and look at it.
It's okay.
That's been a few days ago.
Yep.
It says,
get your phones ready.
It was at 8:23 a.m. I texted her, I said, Maria, I will be picking up the boys today and bringing them to you. I can let you know a more specific ETA after I pick them up. And then at 11:16, I text her and told her, I have called and texted you, but I have not heard anything back. At which time I called her mom to see if she had heard anything from her. And she said that she hadn't. And then immediately after that, let me find those texts. I'm sorry, it's a lot.
It's okay.
Around 12:38, and it says, "Hello, this is Maria. My phone is at home dead, and I had CDL training. I didn't know until last night, but can my mom or Raina pick up the boys?" At which time I messaged her back and asked her to call me. And then she did call me, and I just explained to her that I could only return the boys to her care. She told me that she was 6 hours away and that she would be there by 6. And she told me by 6 in a text. But she told me at that time, it was a little afternoon, that she was 6 hours away.
Okay.
And then there were some texts from her starting at 12:41. That was whenever she tried to call me and I was on the other line. It said it went straight to voicemail. And then at 12:45, she said that she is on her training. "I'm training to get my CDL, but I'm on my way back. We'll be there by 6. It's just I had to take a test and drive for them." And then at 12:45 also, "But I'm coming now," and I told them I can't finish the test. At 12:46, "I thought I'd be done by now, but I had to do a physical too, an online test." 12:50, "I didn't know they would call me so quick to take it, but I thought I'd get it out of the way so I don't have to do it while I'm in school." 12:53, "I drove to Spring, Texas to do it because it won't let me do it in Amarillo. I had to go through a private company because of my background." 12:53 as well, "It just a backup income." 12:56, "But I guess it will have to wait on my way back. My attorney didn't think it would be this quick and said a day or two, so I went ahead and took the appointment to test. I wished I'd have known the exact time." At 1:09, "They told me I can't finish it because I can't drive in Texas. I thought it was just Amarillo, but they said I can take it in another state. I thought if I went through some private company that I could, but I guess I can't." 1:10, that's messed up. So they could have told me this before I drove and spent money on a test." And at 3:44 p.m., I see you're gonna ignore me and act like I didn't communicate, but I have been your phone don't receive calls, so I'm recording everything." And I wasn't communicating with her through those texts because I was on the road.
Okay.
I was instructed to go ahead and go pick up the boys as planned, and bring them back. So I did, and I brought them back. We got here around, I want to say 4 o'clock. And then I was told to go ahead and go by her home. So I went by her home and knocked on the door, and Vincent Day answered the door and told me that she wasn't there. And I asked if he knew where she was. And he said that she was working. And then he told me that she was working. He kind of hem-hawed around about whether or not he was going to tell me where she was working at. And I asked him if he knew where at, and he said no. And I was like, "Okay, well, do you know what she does for work?" And he said, "I think she was cleaning rooms or something to make extra income." So then we went back to the CPS office and called Maria again from the phone at 4:30. And it was, I believe, Kelsey and I called her off my phone because Kelsey had tried to call her, but she didn't answer on that other number. I called her off my phone, and Maria stated that she was still 6 hours away at 4:30.
Okay. Long and short, then the kids went back to prior placement.
I was not involved after 4:30.
Okay. All right. So that's when Ms. Lucero came back on duty, so to speak, right?
Yeah, yelled. from inside the house, who is it? And I clearly announced myself, and then there was nothing heard back. I did wait a few minutes and knocked again, but then there was no response after that.
Okay. Did you have any participation in the conversation about dropping the children with grandmother, or did you talk to grandmother other than you mentioned you reached out to her to see if she'd heard from Maria or then earlier in the day?
Right. During one of those texts, she did ask to drop them off with either grandmother or Raina, at which time I explained to her that I could only drop them off with her.
Right. Did you ever have any conversations with the grandmother, though, about... I doubt it, because I think that came up maybe after 4:30, but I'm just trying to make sure. Did you ever talk to grandmother or anything?
I talked to grandma just to see if she had heard from Maria, but there was no mention of leaving the kids with grandma.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Godsey. Okay, Ms. Lucero, let's go back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll pick up where you stepped back in.
Okay. So whenever I called my supervisor about the situation at hand to make sure that the kids had gotten home safely and everything, and I was told that she still had the children at the office. At that point, I did go up to the office. I told her that I would just come in because I felt like it was my responsibility, regardless of whether I had taken the day off or not. And I did have a conversation with grandma. I know my supervisor spoke with grandma, with Sylvia, as well as myself. And I had explained to Sylvia that we were trying to figure out where Maria was at so she could get the kids. At that point, she had explained to me, which she had actually explained to me prior to this situation as well, that she did not want to take the kids in until she would be approved through HUD to get a bigger home where she could move to where Maria couldn't just show up and cause problems for her at the house. I asked her why this was, and she explained that before the adversary hearing, Maria and her brother had went and broke down her door, and they had stolen.
Okay, I don't want to go into any of that.
Okay.
I just want to talk about the events of Friday.
Okay.
So she, for whatever her reasons were, though, basically she refused to take possession of the children.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all. I don't want to go into the rest of that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Did you then have any discussions with Ms. Velasquez on Friday?
No, ma'am, I didn't. At that point, she was, because she had been speaking with Elisa and my supervisor had asked her to direct all communication to her. And that's, I really just help with the placement of the kids that night again. And so probably my supervisor has more info on that.
Okay. So that's Ms. Moore, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Moore, if you'll unmute and if you'll raise your right hand.
Here's the timeline. Thursday afternoon, the judge orders the kids returned to mom. Thursday night at 10 or 11 p.m., mom leaves town with a friend named Ricky to go to Spring, Texas, then on to Houston, a 10 to 12 hour drive one way. Friday at 8:23 a.m., CPS texts mom saying they're picking up the boys and bringing them to her. No response. Friday at 11:16 a.m., CPS calls and texts again. No response. Friday at 12:38 p.m., mom finally responds saying her phone was dead, she's at CDL training, and she's 6 hours away. CPS says, "We can only return the kids to you." Mom says she'll be home by 6 p.m. But at 4:30 p.m., mom tells CPS she's still 6 hours away, she's tired, and she needs to pull over and sleep. The kids went back to foster care.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth today.
Yes, you do.
Okay. Tell me what you know.
So I kind of got involved when Miss Godsey arrived with the children at the CPS office, and we did call Maria together to find out where she was. And that's when she did state again that she was 6 hours away. And I said, Maria, you're supposed to be 6 hours away 4 hours ago. I mean, like, you're supposed to be almost here. And she said, well, I've been tired and I need to pull over and sleep and I need to eat. And I said, so when can you get here to pick up your children? Because I'm ordered to return them to you. And she told me that she thought she could be there by 10 o'clock. And so in the meantime, that's when I got information that we could possibly release the children to the grandma. And so I called the grandma and asked her if she would be willing to take the children until Maria got back into town. And she was explaining some other events that had happened and said that she did not want to take the children unless they were being placed with her through you, essentially. And I said, well, we're not really doing placement. They're court ordered to go home. We just need somebody that can take them until Maria can get back into town. And she said, I'm scared. I don't feel safe taking them. Okay. And I said, okay.
All right. So at that point in time, then we made arrangements to return them to placement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
She and we both went together to place the children. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. All right. Ms. Velasquez, if you will unmute. All right. If you can adjust your phone or whatever so that I can see you, and you need to raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give will be the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Velasquez, when did you leave town to go to this training?
I left Thursday night and around 10 or 11, and we were supposed to be.
Okay. You muted your phone.
It was rush hour, and the ticket to get to where we were, the load took a while to get picked up, so we had a little bit of layover. But on my way back, I was also tired, so we took some time to take a nap whenever I spoke to Miss Doddsy.
Okay, so hang on a minute, because you muted your device, so we missed some stuff, and then you had your hand in front of your mouth, so it was hard.
No.
The
device is.
So
the device is not muted.
It was for a few seconds. So
okay, sorry. Holding my hand.
Let me back up. All right, you said you left around 10 or 11 o'clock Thursday night.
Yes, ma'am.
To go to Spring, Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was to take a CDL driver's test.
Yes.
Okay, and how long were you anticipating on being in Spring for that test?
Well, I wasn't planning on being there long because he also had a load to take to Houston. So, I mean, it wasn't going to be long, but then didn't take it.
Okay, but so I'm trying to clarify. Who were you with?
Ricky, my friend Ricky Mendoza.
Okay, Ricky. All right, is this a boyfriend?
No, he's just a friend.
Okay, so you're saying he had a load to take on to Houston?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were riding with him?
Yes, ma'am.
So before you ever left home, I want to make sure I understand. You were going to go through Spring, and then your plan was then to go on to Houston.
Yes, ma'am.
And then back to Amarillo?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you think that you should call anyone with the department to tell them you were going to be gone for over 24 hours?
No, I let my attorney know because I was leaving, and I asked him how long did he think that it would be, and he said a day or two. And so when I left my brother at my house, watching my house, and I left him my cell phone, and I don't know what he did. He ran over my phone and broke it that night. And so I didn't even know my phone was broke until I got back. So I had no idea why I wasn't getting phone calls. I was calling my phone and he wasn't answering. So I just went ahead and checked my voicemail and found out that they were calling me at 12. And
okay, well, I guess I don't, here's what I don't understand. I made a decision on Thursday afternoon for the children to be returned to you.
Yes, and I thought they would let me know.
Hang on,
24
hang
hours.
on. I didn't tell you it would be 24 hours. I didn't tell you that it would be Friday. I didn't tell you that it could be Monday. I didn't tell you any parameters other than I don't know when that will be, that you will need to coordinate that with the department. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am. And you also said not to bother them.
I didn't say coordinate that with your lawyer. I said you'll need to be in communication and coordinate that with the department for when they're going to return the kids.
You said not to bother them, so I didn't bother them.
I didn't say don't bother them. I said I don't want any more cussing and ugly talk and, being contentious with them. I did say that, but communicating with them and saying, hey, I don't know when when you're going to try to bring the kids home. I'm getting ready to make a long haul trip to Houston, Texas and back, which, on a good day, you're talking about a 10 to 12 hour drive from here to Houston. If you stop every once in a while and if you get into any kind of traffic, you're talking about easily if you did nothing but drive, you're talking about a 24-hour trip. So my point to you is this all comes back to communication.
The judge just asked Mom a simple question. When I order the kids returned to you on Thursday, why didn't you call CPS and tell them you were going to be out of town for 24 plus hours on a long haul trip to Houston and back? Mom's answer? I figured they would call me 24 hours beforehand, so I could have things ready. I didn't get a call that night, so I was like, maybe it's not going to be tomorrow. The judge fired back. I didn't tell you it would be 24 hours. I didn't tell you it would be Friday. I didn't tell you any. When it comes to your children, don't make assumptions. Nail it down. Have a plan. Then the judge asked the million-dollar question. Whose fault was this? Mom finally admitted. Mine.
I don't understand why you wouldn't have texted or called Ms. Lucero and said, hey, I'm going to be gone for 24 hours or something to that effect. Or when are you going to bring the kids? Because I need to go to Spring, Texas and on to Houston and then back. I'll be home on, Saturday or that. That's all I'm trying to find out. I just feel like
I figured they would call me and tell me beforehand, 24 hours beforehand, so that I could have things ready. I didn't get a call that night, so I was like, maybe it's not going to be tomorrow. It'll be the next day. Okay.
Well, I guess that's what we get for assuming things. So when it comes to your children, let's don't make assumptions, okay? Let's nail it down, okay? Let's have a plan. I don't get it. Why you wouldn't have communicated with somebody that you were going to be out of town when you knew that they were going to be bringing the kids at some point. So I'm going to, Ms. Velasquez, I'm going to stand by my ruling last Thursday, and I'm going to have them return the children to you. I fully expect that you're going to be in communication with these folks about when that's going to happen. Are you back home?
Yes, ma'am. I got back at 2:00 in the morning, and I texted her as soon as I woke up and told her I'm back. I'm sorry. I got back in at 2, and I expressed to her that they could have waited a little longer, and I know that it was a decision I made without thinking, maybe, and just it was really a stupid choice, I think.
Okay, so in whose fault was this in your mind?
Mine.
Bingo. That's the whole point of this discussion.
And I think I've been beating myself up about it every day.
So I don't want to hear that it was Ms. Godsey's fault, or that it was Ms. Lucero's fault, or that it was Mrs. Moore's fault, because it wasn't.
No,
So,
it's not.
okay. All right. Mr. McLaughlin has filed a motion to withdraw as your attorney. All right, that's based on his belief that the two of you cannot effectively communicate, because I guess that you feel like he's not done a good job for you. Listen, he's a big, you say what you want to say. He's a big boy. He can handle it.
No, I mean, I don't feel like I don't feel like anything. I just expressed my opinion to him, but I think he's doing a good job.
Well, if one text to someone will suffice, why send 50?
I don't know. I'm a big speaker.
If people are, these people are busy people, and they're not always right where they can respond to a phone call or to a text message or something like that. So if you've texted Mr. McLaughlin, hey, I need to talk to you. Will you please call me? Why is that not sufficient? Why do you need to send another 25 or 30 or whatever messages? How is that? How does that help?
I have a problem with that. I guess I talk too much.
Well, but you understand, these people have other things that they have to do other than be at your beck and call.
Yes, Mom.
And whether it's Mr. McLaughlin as your attorney or anybody else that I assign to represent you, it's going to be the same story. They've got other things to do. They're not always in a situation where they can answer a telephone or they can respond to a text message. They may be in a consultation with another client. They may be in a courtroom somewhere. They may be, at a doctor's appointment. Believe it or not, lawyers are people too.
Yes, Mom.
Contrary to, popular opinion. So if you've got a problem with Mr. McLaughlin, I'm going to allow him to withdraw as your attorney, even though I think he's done a very fine job for you. I
don't have a problem with him. I have not told him I have a problem with him.
But you can understand why it's problematic when you are incessantly texting him morning, noon, and night about the same thing. You got to give, you got to give somebody the opportunity to respond.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to allow him to withdraw, and I'm going to substitute someone in But Ms. Velasquez, you better approach things in a different way with your new lawyer. I'm just telling you.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of lawyers won't even give you their cell phone number. They'll give you their office number, and you can leave messages with a service or on an answering machine at night, and you'll get a call back when you get a call back. But, I'm just telling you, you just, people have lives outside of their work, and you need to be respectful of that.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to do better about communication, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I understand you went and took your drug test.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm glad that you remember what I talked to you about last Thursday about cooperation and everything else.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is it your desire for the children to come home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Miss Katie, who will be up next on our list?
William Taylor, Judge.
All right. Your new attorney is a gentleman named William. He goes by Bill Taylor.
The judge is still returning the kids to Mom, but she delivered a brutal lecture first. Mom's attorney filed a motion to withdraw because Mom won't stop incessantly texting him morning, noon, and night. The judge told Mom, if one text will suffice, why send 50? These people are busy. They're not always at your beck and call. Lawyers have other clients, other courtrooms, doctor's appointments. They're people too. You better approach things differently with your new lawyer, Mr. William Taylor, because a lot of lawyers won't even give you their cell phone number. Treat him with respect. Be mindful. He has other things to do. If you cooperate and be professional, he'll do the same. Mom took her drug test. That's a positive step. But the judge made it clear. Communication and cooperation are a non-negotiable moving forward. Was the judge right to still return the kids? Let me know in the comments.
And Miss Katie, I think you have her email address to send her that information. Is that correct?
I believe so, Judge. I'll check it. If I don't have it, I'll get it from Mr. McLaughlin.
Okay. Do you have a working email, Ms. Velasquez?
Not since my phone broke. Since everything is connected to my phone number, I have to get a code to get back in my email. So I was using my friend Ricky's to do this court right now.
If we get that information to Ms. Lucero, Ms. Lucero, can you all exchange that, you think?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Would you put your email in the chat just to make sure Miss Katie has it?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Velasquez, I'm gonna tell you. Treat Mr. Taylor with respect.
Yes, ma'am.
And be mindful that he has other things to do. But
yes, ma'am.
He'll do a good job for you, if you'll work with him, if you'll cooperate and try to be cordial with him and professional with him, he will do the same. What information are you wanting?
I am needing to get the email or the number where I can get a hold of Maria so that we can start her FCT program, her therapy program. And so I'd like to get started on that right away. So I wanted to see if we could share that information also to St. Francis so that we could get a hold of her and get those started.
Sure. Ms. Lucero, do you mind sending all that to them?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The number